Welcome back to another episode of Home But Not Alone, and today we have another special guest. She's one of roughly 300 certified exercise physiologists in Canada. She's working as a CEP with the Nova Scotia Health Authority. She's a personal trainer, and she's an athletic coach for the World Gym in Dartmouth. She's a Nova Scotia native, an Acadia alumni, and a low-key country lover. Please welcome Joy Chiekwe.
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for making the time to be here. This is huge. So how are you?
I'm doing well. It's been a pretty low-key day, so I'm excited to come on and talk for a little bit.
Has your work been impacted from the COVID-19? Because I know you're working possibly in the office at the NHSA, or would you? And I know it definitely got altered with working at World Gym and things.
Yeah, so my main job with the Nova Scotia Health Authority is, I run a program called Access, and it's a research program, and it's basically an exercise program for cancer patients. Mm-hmm. So with COVID, of course, we had to shut that down, and we've been trying to move it over to a virtual setting, but because it's research, we have to go through all these loops and holes. So we finally got all that figured out, and I'll be starting virtual meetings and meeting with clients over Zoom and things like this starting next week. So
that's awesome.
That's been exciting. Yeah.
So I know you are a Dartmouth native. Is that true?
Yeah, Cole Harbour.
So,
yeah.
Cole Harbour. So that's home of Sidney Crosby. That's home of the greats.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Are you living with family, or how little or how often do you get to be with your family?
Yeah, so I've been living at the house I've grown up in, just because after graduating from Acadia, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I figured I should probably save some money. So living rent-free hasn't been bad at all.
No.
So I see most of my family still. My sister lives in Halifax, so we haven't seen her since the whole COVID thing.
Really?
And my brothers and parents are here, so nothing's changed for that too much.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So have you been able to keep up, start any new hobby with your free time? Have you picked up old hobbies, trying new things? What have you been doing to keep yourself busy?
Yeah, so I've been adding a lot. So I do work out a lot, and I've kind of neglected my body, taking care of it as I should. So I've been incorporating more mobility work, so a lot of yoga, stuff like that, just slowing things down. Also just reading it again. So I love reading, but I never really just did it to enjoy it. So I've been reading different book here and there.
What's the latest read, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm currently reading Handmaid's Tale.
Nice.
I've watched the first season of the show, but I found it a little too much. So I'm gonna try to read a book to see if it's a little easier to kind of digest.
Feel that. So I know as being a fitness trainer and somebody who's active all the time, and now being confined into 4 walls and just a house and a few kilometers from your house, where are you putting that energy that you used to have for training and working out? Where does that energy go?
So I still work out for an hour a day. It's definitely a bit different. I have some equipment in my house, but definitely not as much as a gym. I've been running a lot more. I don't like running, so I've been trying to put some more energy towards that, and I think that's where a lot of my energy is going. And then also just working on my own personal brand. I've had a lot of ideas that were just stored in notes, and so having this downtime to kind of actually dig into it has been amazing. So
that's awesome. What is your personal brand? Because I know you do Move with Joy, and it's a few blogs. So are you just adding to that, or?
Yeah, a little bit. So I have personal training clients and stuff, but I really wanted to showcase more Black individuals in the fitness industry.
Nice.
So I had this idea called More Than Genetics, and I just wanted to bring that to life. So interviewing other Black professionals in fitness, and just kind of work out with them. So that's been going. I really just started that this week. So that's
awesome.
Been good. Yeah.
Well, I'm a Black professional, and I'm not much of the athletic guy anymore, but if you ever want to interview me, go ahead.
For sure.
So athletics must have been a part of your whole life, because I know that you've played women's you played on the Acadia women's basketball team in 2014, 2015.
Yeah.
So was it, did you ever have goals of becoming a professional athlete, or did you always know you were going to pursue athletic therapy?
I grew up playing every sport, so I enjoyed sports, but there wasn't really a sport that I loved. So when I got the chance to play basketball at university, like obviously I'm going to take that chance, but I knew
Right.
I didn't love it. And I fell more in love with the behind the scenes of athletics. So the strength and
Hmm.
conditioning, the therapy side, and the exercise science part. So after first year and after being exposed to all that, I kind of knew that my journey was definitely going to be in athletics or exercise medicine, something like that, whether it's what I'm doing now or whether it was being like an orthopedic surgeon or something like that.
Hmm.
But I've always loved athletics and just moving my body, and I learning how much it can impact someone else's life. I just kind of dove into that and just try to help as many people as I can through exercise and physical activity.
Oh, yeah. So, as I'm seeing on your professional pages, you're all about helping others and helping them through living a healthier lifestyle. But for the
Yeah.
people who don't know what a certified exercise physiologist, what is it? What do you do? And explain to them, because I was bringing you to it until a few days ago.
Yeah. So they're not really well known yet in Canada. So an exercise physiologist, so it we differ from a personal trainer through our education. So you have to have a 4-year degree and do all this
Okay.
stuff. But mostly we work with people with chronic conditions and we help them improve their quality of life through exercise and physical activity. So whether they have hypertension, diabetes, cancer, or they're coming off of an injury or some type of stroke or anything like that, we use exercise to get them back to where they were or somewhere similar. So for me, I work specifically with cancer patients mostly right now. And so it's whether they were just diagnosed, they're going through treatment, or they're in survivorship. I use exercise to help them regain strength or maintain strength to just live as normal life as they can.
Mhm.
I've done a lot of work with cardiac rehab. So someone who's had a stroke or sorry, a heart attack or stroke and rehabbing them so they can feel fit again, get back to a normal life. I've also worked with just people coming back from injuries, athletes, elite athletes, stuff like
Mhm.
that. So exercise physiology or exercise physiologists can range depending on where you want to specialize. So some people might do chronic conditions, some people might do athletes. So I really
Nice.
like the older population and the chronic condition population.
Is it like ever challenging, because like you're working with people recovering from injuries and people like elderly people, and but you only really get to spend about an hour, 2 hours with them, and then they still
Mhm.
have 22 hours and maybe more of the week on their own.
Yeah.
So how challenging is it to make sure somebody stays on schedule and stays on the fitness plan that you gave them?
Yeah, it is challenging. So with Access, they actually come in twice a week, and so I see them for 24 sessions.
Hmm.
And through those conversations, you just create behavior change and little by little. Um, it is hard working with the older population because honestly, it's just like teaching a kid, especially if they haven't done it ever.
Or
So you just have to like, you have to like bring things back down and just take it at their own pace and learn how they learn. So I would use different cues for people or different exercises depending on their abilities and stuff like that. It does get hard when you get into chronic conditions. So I do work with cancer patients or post heart attack patients. So it does. Some days are hard, but I think there's more better days because once they understand that their body can do something, they just get so happy and they're always
or
so grateful, and it just makes me feel good too.
That's good.
Yeah.
So is that how you got in contact with the Chronicle Herald? Where, because now I see you've been doing weekly posts, like weekly submissions about fitness, and
Mhm.
one of your latest articles was the importance of keeping up with exercises in your regime, because it has beneficial factors for your immune system. Can you explain what that means and what it is for the people who didn't read the article?
For that article, so I've been writing weekly articles for the Chronicle about how seniors really can stay active because with the gyms being closed and group fitnesses being closed, they were worried that they wouldn't be able to get their activities that is very necessary.
Hmm.
So after a few weeks, I was kind of running out of things to talk about. So I figured, why don't just talk about how exercise actually helps your immune system because a lot of people don't like the thought of exercising to just be active. They
Right.
want a reason to move, right? So I talked about how when you exercise, it helps enhance your immune system just by moving everything around and creating better defense. In short, I try not to go too deep into detail so people don't get bored. But in the end, it's really just saying how exercise can help build your immunity, especially specifically for viruses that are unknown, like COVID.
So as you're saying, exercises can boost your immunity, right? I know you've
Mhm.
been preaching a lot about cardiorespiratory fitness, which is your cardio is what people would know it as, right? So as the
Yeah.
world is fighting a respiratory virus, does adding more cardio into your fitness workout any benefit? Is it beneficial at all, or is it just would it just help you as regular?
I think overall it's beneficial. The stronger you are before you get a sickness, the better your body will be able to handle it. So,
Okay,
because COVID is a cardiorespiratory illness, having strong lungs and cardiovascular system will definitely help you in the long run, ideally. And just for overall health, having a proper cardiovascular fitness is going to help you just make your overall quality of life easier and better.
nice. Okay, so as you know, Save Me Save We and myself and not myself, we're all about mental health, and I like to preach it when I was a student athlete at Acadia, and I like talking about it in my regular job and then the people I talk to. So how does mental health come in factor? Does with physical fitness? So I know that. Let me ask this again. So how does what do you believe there's a strong correlation between physical and physiological fitness in terms of mental health?
Um, I depending on the person.
Actually, let me
So
ask this. Let me ask this again. Sorry, sorry.
okay.
Let's ask it this way. In your professional opinion, how strong is the correlation between psychological health and physiological health?
It's hard to say. I do know for some people who do struggle with mental illness, exercising does help, but then there's also the other group that doesn't help at all.
Hmm.
I think overall, if whatever you can do to improve your overall health will be beneficial. So whether you go to the gym, whether you do yoga, you just go for a walk, I think it overall can help. There are studies with like the endorphins and serotonin release after an exercise routine could help with mental illness, but
Hmm.
again, it's going to depend on the person. So I'm just a believer of just improving your quality of life, and I just happen to do that through fitness. So if I could help someone through fitness, then ideally that would be awesome.
That's awesome. So as an athletic trainer, you need to have the drive to motivate, to push people, to help people. You need to demonstrate a strong persona. But as I know from experience, from coaching and stuff, it's impossible to always be on such a high. So how do you balance your highs and your lows, and how do you get to work and perform at 110 because your client needs you to be, without
Yeah.
draining yourself mentally?
For me, I like to follow a schedule. So to motivate myself to work out, obviously some days I don't want to, but if I put on my schedule, I'm going to check it off. So I'm going to do it, whether it's 20 minutes or an hour.
Right.
For my clients, whenever I see them, I pretend like they're the only client I know. I'm going to give them my 110% because if I come in with a bad attitude, they're also going to have a bad attitude. You
Right.
never want your problems to shake theirs, which
Hmm.
sometimes can get annoying if you are having a bad day. But again, I just have to remember that the 5 hours I had before them, it should not affect their hour with me, if
Right.
that makes sense.
No, that makes a
And
lot of
then,
sense.
yeah. And then to keep them motivated, we just go small steps, small goals. I tell them how much better they were last week or how much better they are now than last week. And
Hmm.
they just keep fighting. Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, so somebody who's watching this is aspiring to be a personal trainer or possibly even getting their CEP. What advice would you give them to excel in this industry?
I would say know your anatomy. That is huge. That's like, if you know your anatomy, everything is way easier. And then of course physiology. If you're not sure if you want to do it, just ask somebody about it, because you won't regret that. Because if you do hate it, then you'll know. If you love it, then it's even better. For me, I wasn't sure where I wanted to specialize, so I literally tried everything, and then I finally know. That's basically it. And also get in the gym, get as much experience on your own body as you can,
Okay.
and then work with different populations.
That's awesome. All right. So me, when I played basketball, my motivational quote, my mantra was, what will hurt more, the pain of regret or the pain of hard work? So what is your motivational quote or your mantra that, like, when you don't want to do it, you tell yourself, and it gets you out and going?
I very simple. I like the "Just Do It" slogan by Nike.
Okay.
Like, it's just so simple. Like, literally, just do it. If
Right.
it's something I really want to do, I know I'm gonna be happy at the end, I just do it. But I also add some things in that I know I hate, but I know it will make me mentally tougher.
Mhm.
So honestly, I just just do it. If I write it down on my list for the day, I need to check it off before the day is over. So
That's awesome.
I don't know. I might be different that way, but just
So, okay, so in your personal training career and as a CEP, what is the best advice that you were given that you would like to pass down to somebody else?
best advice. I would say, so this one comes from, I used to work at another gym, Blended Athletics,
Mhm.
and one of the managers there, we would have talks every week, and he noticed that I wasn't into it, like what I was doing, and he told me to make a list, and every night, if I'm saying no more than yes, so if I write things that are going on in my life and I don't like most of the things, then I have to change something. So
Right.
yeah, so I think that's it. If you're saying no more than you're saying yes at the end of the night, then something needs to change.
Okay, so for me, I'm trying to understand that a little more. So you write a list of the things you've done throughout your day, or
Just your life. So at that
oh,
time, I wasn't like happy with personal training at that gym, and I wasn't sure why, or like I I just kind of got into a routine where I was just like waking up doing the same thing,
hmm,
and I figured out where I wanted to be, where I am now, and where I am now wasn't going to take me to where I wanted to be.
perfect.
So saying no to things rather than saying yes, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
that's awesome.
yeah.
All right, so this is pretty much wrapping up the interview. But before we go, I like to
Mhm.
play a quick game. So it's called
Okay.
Top Three. So I'm going to ask you a question. You have to say the first three things that come to your mind. All right.
All right.
So
Yeah.
the first one is your three favorite exercises.
Bulgarian split squats, pull ups now, and third one, I'd say overhead press.
Overhead press. What is your three go-to healthy hearty meals?
Meals. Okay, so for breakfast is going to be turkey bacon and egg whites. And then I love ground turkey, sweet potato, and broccoli.
Mhm.
And then salmon with green peppers.
Okay. What
Yeah.
are your three favorite workout songs? And I know you have to include country in there. I heard you listening to that country at Acadia.
Oh man, a country song? I can't even think of one right now it's been a
Your
minute.
three favorite workout songs. It doesn't have to be in there, but
I don't even listen to music that much when I work out.
really,
I'll say Shug by DaBaby.
okay.
um I'll say I really don't listen to that much. Like, there's no one song that I thinking like running. Oh, Tennessee Whiskey. That's a good country song that I'll do anything to. And then last one right now, I'll probably say "Forever" by Justin Bieber. And
Good. That's a good song.
yeah,
And last but not least, what are your three go-to Netflix shows or movies?
Netflix shows or movies. That '70s Show.
Classic.
A movie would be The Great One.
I'll have to add that to
Or
the
is
list.
that what it's called? I think it's called The Great One. Yeah. And then another one, I'd say Girls Trip.
That's a great movie.
Yeah.
All right. So, what are your big plans? What can the audience and the viewers expect from you in the next few years? I know you mentioned you're more than just genetics.
Yeah. So I want that to take off. I'll be starting my master's in the fall at Dow, so that should be done in 2 years. And from there, I think making exercise physiologists more known in the healthcare field.
It's awesome.
That's what I want to do. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Joy. It's been a
So
pleasure. It was a quick
thank you for
and
having
easy
me.
interview, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Um, thank you. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. That was awesome.
Thank you.